Hey guys, Claire here. In today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. While the British press was camped out at Heathrow waiting to catch a glimpse of Prince Harry heading back to Montecito, the Duke surprised us all by making a trip to Ukraine. This is the second trip for 2025 for Prince Harry, and this trip was packed with a lot of engagements and a lot of emotion.
Prince Harry is in Kyiv visiting wounded service members. Harry is an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan. It is his second time visiting Ukraine since the start of Russia's invasion back in 2022. CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio has the details of the visit.
Yes, this appears to be a trip of solidarity to boost the morale of Ukraine's soldiers, and frankly, a needed boost. President Volodymyr Zelensky said at least 390,000 soldiers had been wounded in the war, but that was back in February, and that's a figure that has sadly, no doubt, gone up since then. Prince Harry arrived in Kyiv on an overnight train. Ukrainian railways said that he was there to see firsthand the destruction from Russia's invasion. And his visit comes as Russia's attacks have ramped up in intensity. Last weekend, Moscow launched the most drones towards Ukraine ever in a single day. Harry told British newspaper The Guardian, "We cannot stop the war, but we can help the recovery process." The paper said he would also meet with Ukraine's prime minister and about 200 of those war vets. And Harry's visit is consistent with his long-running support of military service members around the world as the founder of the Invictus Games. And along similar lines, this week, Harry and his wife Meghan announced their foundation. The Archwell Foundation had donated $500,000 to projects supporting injured children in Ukraine, as well as
Gaza. Not sure why that video cut off right there. This is the type of reporting that I've been seeing from various news outlets. I don't think that there has been a social media platform or a news agency that hasn't covered Harry's trip to Ukraine. Now, obviously, they covered his trip to the UK and the will he, won't he see Charles. But this trip to Ukraine, I feel like I've seen it covered everywhere. And not only that, but I feel like the comments that I've seen, 95% of them have been very positive. So that's always good to see.
Well, he's done it again. Harry's getting really, really good at surprising us all. And now when we thought he was on a plane back to California, which he will be soon, he's in Ukraine, seeing wounded servicemen and women and children who've had their legs blown off by landmines and war. And he's doing it brilliantly, as he does. And he's had a great week back in the UK, and just made me think what a loss he is and how great it would have been to have the brothers working side by side as they once did. And what a shame that 5 years ago the palace couldn't have found some way for Harry and Meghan to be half in, half out. But he's doing it on his own terms now, and he's doing it very well. So well done, Harry.
This is how you use your influence to make a political statement without using politics. So they've donated to Save the Children, the World Health Organization, and the Center for Blast Injury Studies to help children in Gaza and Ukraine, where the levels of amputations are the highest in the world right now. So good for them. This is Harry and Meghan through their Archwell Foundation. Brilliant.
Brilliant indeed. And if you're interested in the nitty-gritty of Prince Harry's trip in Ukraine, as well as all of his engagements in the UK, don't forget to check out sussex.com, where there's a lot more detailed into every single engagement that the Duke has engaged in. One of the things that made me smile was Prince Harry's statement stating that before he made the trip to Ukraine, he had to check with his wife first and the British government to make sure that it was okay. Someone shared a screenshot of an article where William apparently said that he really wanted to go to Ukraine, but it was told that it was too dangerous.
I'm laughing because the only way I can read this entire article is by putting "unlike William" at the end of every sentence. So, Prince Harry is still the same person, despite stepping back from royal life. It's Harry all day. He cares. Unlike William, Jordan Blair tells people you would think with his status, his head would be in the clouds. But no, he's grounded, man. His feet are on the ground, and he's ready to put that work in. Unlike William. Another quote, he cares about what it is that we are, what we're trying to do. He won't just walk in, take a picture, or sit down and do an event and go home. He wants to ask questions. He wants to feel the energy. Unlike William. And that also goes for when Prince Harry is taking his own money to donate to charity. He just donated over £1 million of his personal money. Unlike William. This entire piece shows that Harry actually cares when he shows up to put in the work, and that has been what I am not seeing from William and Kate. They don't show up, they don't put in the work, and when they get there, it doesn't really seem like they care. Unlike Harry.
The difference between Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and his sibling is as stark as the difference between Diana and Camilla. Like, it's not just in their work ethic and in their generosity and in how they show up. It's also in how we receive them, and also in the stories that these people tell us through their actions. So, for example, we keep getting told that the Prince of Wales is like, you know, such and such cause is close to his heart, such and such thing is something that he's very passionate about. But we never actually see William doing any of these things. We're told that he's popular. We never actually see him being popular. It's something that we have to get beaten over the head with. But when it comes to Prince Harry, we see Harry show up. When we look at, like, if you just track what Harry's doing, we find him being generous. We find him being like relatable and down to earth and just interacting with people and children and everybody in a way that is very resonant and like relatable in the same way that we felt about his mother. And then you have this guy, when he's not taking this adorable picture with all these adorable little babies, dude is night fighting with little girls, like in a totally dad, fun, cute way. As a storyteller, I say this as a storyteller, like, we keep getting told that the Prince of Wales is this and this and this, but we never actually see it for ourselves. But on the other hand, you have this guy. We are told, oh, he's doing everything wrong. He should be taking pointers from his elder brother, his elder sibling.
This week has been absolutely phenomenal. It's always wonderful to see Harry in his element. And I will always maintain that, well, when he's playing polo, he looks happy, but when he's doing charitable work, it just seems to bring out the best in him. Well, charitable work and Invictus Games. He looks extremely happy, and I feel like that's a really good indication of who he is as a person. The fact that he lights up while he's doing charitable work. And I couldn't help but think about Centibale. Centibale hemorrhaging financially. The community center for the children being empty or used for things that it was not intended to be used for. The legacy of a charity born out of love, just on the wayside. Meanwhile, you see Harry supporting Well Child, the Diana Awards, Invictus Games, veterans in Ukraine, Centibale, a shell of its former self.
As Prince Harry's recent visit has shown, he has this ability to connect with anyone, regardless of culture, background, gender, whether they're a man, whether they're a woman, whether they're old, whether they're young. And for me, connection isn't just about his personality, it's about purpose. Real bonds are built when someone shows up not for the spotlight, but because they are there for the long haul. And this is what people senses about Prince Harry, because even when the cameras are no longer there, he's always showing up for his communities and for his charities. Harry doesn't just parachute into a cause for the photo ops, he immerses himself in them. That's the key difference. He doesn't lend his name to a project or take credit for somebody else's work like a ceremonial ribbon cutter. He gets inside the work, he listens to the people at the heart of the work, and he helps build solutions that actually last. Take the Invictus Games. This wasn't handed to him as a ready-made patronage to maintain tradition. He actually founded it. He actually went to different people, went to different organizations. He got the funding. He got the people together. He got the countries to participate. He got the Ministry of Defense involved. He got ministers involved. He got the Prime Minister involved. He got his granny involved. He got his dad involved. He got his brother. He got everybody involved. And this has then now grown to a point where a lot of the military organizations in different countries now ask to send their soldiers, their wounded soldiers, to these games. Same thing about Sentebale, again founded from scratch with Prince Siso. It's sad that what's happened to Sentebale with a hostile takeover, but something occurred to me. Imagine that 1.1 million that Prince Harry had donated to children in need, that would have gone to Sentebale if not for the hostile takeover. But anyway, I digress. So I love that Harry speaks the language of service fluently, because he doesn't treat service as a photo op. He doesn't treat it as another optic. And this is why people really, really relate with him. He's got charisma, he's got relatability, and he's got likability. Things that the others in a certain family will always struggle with.
In the last video, we quickly touched on Prince Harry meeting with King Charles. In that video, I basically said, soon enough we'll see leaking. And I know it's not going to be from Team Montecito. And it already has.
Wait until you see how fast the premise of this Daily Mail article falls apart. This article headline reads, Prince Harry promised King Charles that details of their first meeting in 19 months would remain private because he is determined to rebuild their father and son relationship, only for the king and his people to turn around and immediately start briefing about the meeting. So this headline reads, this is like 3 or 4 hours later after that first headline. King Charles is set to reunite with his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet, after 3 years following reconciliation talks with Prince Harry. Who do you think would have leaked this to the Daily Mail? Not Harry. He hates the Daily Mail. And who does this article make look good? Charles. That he gets to reunite with his grandchildren that he doesn't actually really care about. So a few hours after the first Daily Mail headline says that he is being trusted not to leak anything, this man leaks details of the meeting. And this is what has been happening the entire time. That is what Harry has been complaining about.
Harry and his dad reunited for the first time in almost 2 years. And before I continue, please be prepared for the most insane takes from Prince William's camp. We're going to get a lot of, I'm going to strip titles when I'm king, herder. We're going to get the most outrageous takes from Tom Sykes at the Daily Beast. Well, I don't think anything that he writes will be as embarrassing as when he wrote this article back in September of 2024. About defecting to William from Harry and Meghan going Tom. Anyways, back to this. Katie writes that Charles has been keen on reconciliation with Harry for a while, and that any long-term reconciliation is up to Harry. They're trying to say that the king has always wanted reconciliation. It's a crazy statement to make because Harry said literally back in May that Charles isn't talking to him. And this is my problem with Katie Nicholl as the chief royal correspondent at Vanity Fair, that she never challenges anything that's not pro-Charles, pro-William, pro-Kate, whatever. Anyways, Charles genuinely misses Harry, and it pains him that there is a rift, but the ball is in Harry's court, says a source who knows the king. If details of their meeting are leaked, then it would be a short-lived reconciliation. The issue of trust is very important to the king and has been breached in the past. How do you think Harry feels about trust, considering his dad yanked Harry and Meghan's home that Queen Elizabeth gifted to them and their family? His dad yanked his money and his security when he decided to step back. I wonder if that affects any trust. Anyways, we'll see how it goes. Keep an eye out for a lot of vengeful King William articles coming out in wake of this.
Oh, it's already begun. But we're not going to go there. Now, in the last two videos, we've been fully focused on Prince Harry, but there are still so many people who are unboxing their as ever products and PR packages. Those PR packages look incredible. Also, we've got a few new photos of Meghan.
Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has sent me a PR package for the new season of her show, so I thought we could unbox it together. So this had a little piece of fresh lavender at the top, which is so cute. Let's see what's in box number 1. So pretty. So we have the recipe for her thumbprint cookies, cute little With Love Meghan napkin, a box of her shortbread cookie mix, a jar of her apricot spread, and then a spoon. Amazing. I love it. Okay, so box number 2 had the most beautiful set of pans from our place. So a nice roasting pan, but I think I'm most excited to try and recreate her thumbprint recipe. I already saw it on one of the episodes of the show and it looked so good. But from one hostess to another, thank you so much, Meghan. I cannot wait to try all of this.
Okay, so I just want to spend a second to talk about Meghan Sussex and how I, a couple of days ago, finally finished season 2. And it was so hard not to completely binge it in one sitting like I did the first season. Anyway, I digress. I just wanted to share some positive, happy thoughts about it. It's comforting. It gives me a sense of comfort. You know, we're both from LA. I used to live in Santa Barbara and I live in Madrid now. So watching that show and just the surroundings, it just brought me a lot of peace. It really inspired me. And as a fellow millennial, I'm a younger millennial, I'm 30, but either way, I just like heavily relate to her and her personality and just how she is and comes across. Anyway, all this to say is that I absolutely adore the show. I'm gonna keep rewatching it. I'm gonna keep making the recipes and putting my take on them because it's fun, it's inspirational, it makes me happy, and I think that's what it's all about, right? Even my dog loved her recipe. I had my own take on her season 1 dog treat recipe. Season 2 was a hit in my book. Absolutely cannot wait for the holiday special in December. And I'll be making more recipes from both seasons, so.
I just received my package from Meghan Markle's As Ever product line. I must say, it took a while. There are always going to be hiccups whenever you have a company and you're shipping things to a large amount of people, but it's how you handle it. And I must say, they handled it with the utmost care. Not only did they refund me my expedited shipping, they also gave me 20% off my next order. It's packaged with care. I got 3 items. This looks to be the peppermint tea. Beautiful packaging. Very similar to the Fortnum & Mason packaging. Meghan Markle's As Ever. It's beautiful, classic tin silhouette. The hibiscus. The orange marmalade. That's all for now.
I do enjoy the commentary from the fellas enjoying the With Love Meghan show and enjoying her As Ever products as well. Now in the last video, I switched up the editing style slightly where it's a lot shorter, gives you the information in a quicker way. And a lot of you in the comment section seem to like it. So if you haven't checked it out yet, check it out and let me know what you think. If I can incorporate videos like that during the week when things are going on, because it takes a lot less time when it comes to editing. So yeah, check it out and let me know.
Hazard is back in the news again. Yes, he's met up with Charles. Yes, he's had a cup of tea. No one really knows what was said or discussed in that meeting. Obviously, we've all had a bit of a pontification. That's a good word, isn't it? But he's back doing what he loves for Invictus. Prince Harry makes a surprise visit to Kiev as he pledges help for thousands injured in the Ukraine war. Invictus is an absolutely massive machine. It must take him the majority of the year to keep it going. And with the situation between Russia and Ukraine, he's getting involved, making sure that injured ex-service people have the full support of Invictus and doing something good. So, let's do a recap. Pledges his own money, created and maintains Invictus, regularly shows up, turns up, does good, doesn't complain. The guy is an absolute legend. He's literally highlighting all the shortcomings of the non-working, taxpayer-funded royal family without even trying to.
Harry showing up in Ukraine is a surprise. To whom? The Ukrainians? No. Harry? No. The UK media who camped out at the airport to get a shot of Harry leaving the UK when he was on a train to go to Ukraine. They didn't know. So since they didn't know, the royal family didn't know because they couldn't leak it. Yeah, no one knew. Tell me again how Harry leaks.
Thank you so much for this comment, Rosie. Yes, the Queen said, the late Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, God rest her soul, she said, you need to be seen to be believed. She understood that the monarchy's survival depends on visibility. The royal family isn't a private company with behind-the-scenes deliverables. Its entire currency is public presence, engagements, walkabouts, handshakes, charity patronages. These aren't side activities, they are the work. That's why the court circular exists. It's a daily ledger proving that they have been out and about. If private invisible work were enough, then there wouldn't be a need for such meticulous record keeping. And yet, for decades, the palace has proudly pushed the hardest working royal chart appearance thing on the public, and it's a system that they actually created themselves. So when defenders actually say, just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not working, it completely contradicts the monarchy's own mantra and measurement tools. The late Queen, God rest her soul, the late Queen herself set the standard. Visibility equals credibility. And therefore, if the current lot of royals, if they're not seen, they are not working, at least not by the rules that they expect the public to buy into. But anyway, what do I know? Please leave your comments because I'm very keen to debate this with anyone. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I like to use this chart every time I talk about Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry's popularity versus Harry's sibling and his wife's popularity. First things first, this chart was made by the Daily Mail. So that's the first thing that should give you like an inkling of why you shouldn't necessarily trust everything that is said about this chart. And as has been pointed out by several people, well, Google searches don't necessarily translate to popularity, to which I will say to you, well, not necessarily, yes, I agree with you on that. However, having said that, you do have to agree and concede that these Google searches do translate to an interest from people. And people don't seem to be as interested in one pair of people versus the other. Like that should tell you something. And thirdly, the fact that the Daily Mail is the one that produced this data should tell you that should a credible source produce something similar, what would those numbers look like? Because as you know, the Daily Mail has spent its entire, it's an institution that has dedicated all of its resources, all of its staff members, a whole bunch of money, and every single day these people should just call themselves the Daily Meghan because they've dedicated their lives to trashing this woman and presenting her as this Jezebel witch who is like this vapid, vain person who is a nothing, entity. And these are the people who are not interested in presenting anything positive about this woman. So if they're telling you more people are interested in her than the people that we keep getting told are popular, that should tell you something. And thirdly, I keep getting told, well, I'm comparing celebrities with actual true royals, And my question to that is, well, why is the data comparing actual royals to celebrities? Why can't you compare royals to royals? Why the interest still in these people that you are calling irrelevant and therefore celebrities and therefore not as important in the world, or whatever metric of, goodness that you are using to judge this data. Like, why are you telling me, why are you giving me data and then telling me, but the data is faulty? Like, why don't you leave them out of these charts and everything else? Like, why do you still feel the need to bring them back into the conversation? That's my point. Like, you can't tell me they're not actual royals and still compare them to actual royals, and then when the royals perform worse than these people that you think are irrelevant, you cry about it like, oh, they're not actual royals. Like, pick a lane, pick a lane. And fourthly or fifthly, I've lost count at this point, I then get told, oh, well, the actual YouGov polls show that more people have a positive opinion of William and Kate versus Harry and Meghan. And my question to that is, what were the questions getting asked in this kind of poll? Like, we're not getting that full context, that full information. Like, we don't have that. You're just presenting data to us in a way that you want us to interpret it, i.e., Meghan is very unliked. And people then proudly say, well, the only person who's like less popular than her is Prince Andrew. That's not a compliment. That's not a trash against Meghan. That is an indictment against you as a society. The fact that the only person you like, if you are at a point where you are comparing Prince Andrew to Meghan, I would like to remind people, this man has been accused of participating in with Epstein. If that is the person you are saying, well, if that's your gotcha, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, if that's your gotcha, you shouldn't be proud of this. You should not be saying this proudly that, oh, people hate, like the only person they hate more than her. What are we even talking about at this point? And fifthly or sixthly, like when you look at the other matrix that should indicate popularity, like the actual real world, real life matrix that should indicate popularity, Meghan blows these people out of the water hands down. The Meghan effect isn't just something that measures economic performance of things that Meghan wears or whatever. It's a clear indicator of how popular she is. Take for instance, with Love Meghan, the numbers for that don't participate don't perform in the same way that cookery and lifestyle shows perform. Like, she is way above everybody else. She doesn't have peers, is my point. Like, but when you y'all are gonna have me saying stuff that I really don't want to say, but when you look at Kate and her effect, businesses go bankrupt even after she has worn brands. And the other thing that I've noticed is that there is this push by the Royal Rota to kind of be like, well, if Meghan sells our stuff, well, Kate and her children also sell our stuff. And it's like, no, don't stop lying to us. Stop lying to us and tell the truth. But seventhly or eighthly, whichever number I'm at now, why are y'all so obsessed with the popularity? And why do you keep telling us where one group of people is celebrities and influencers and these other people are royals and they have influence and these are the charts? Like, I think at this point, and I don't say this condescendingly, I do need people to exercise a little bit of critical thinking and media literacy, because you can't just give me data and then come and want to nitpick the data to kind of tell the story that you want to tell. Because even though I do not trust the Daily Mail chart, it still tells me something. I do not trust that. But again, like I said, I know Meghan is a lot more popular. So this chart is actually just showing me a trend. It's actually just showing me a trend. I think these numbers are a lot higher than we are being given here. The Daily Mail, I don't think that the Daily Mail is above just cutting off at 300,000. It wouldn't shock me to find out that this chart actually went to like 500,000 or 1 million or whatever, and they just cut it off here to not make the other people look bad, is my point. And I hope I phrase that in a way that is understandable and coherent, because again, I don't trust the numbers, I trust the trend. And what I mean is that Prince Harry and Meghan, yes, a lot more popular. Sorry, that's my colleague pouring water. But Prince Harry and Meghan are a lot more popular than we are being told, even by this Daily Mail chart, is my point. And when you give me the emotional support poll from YouGov, I'm telling you, no, that's not true. They are polling people with a predisposition. I know I'm struggling for the correct word, but they are polling people with a predisposition to say, I actually view Meghan negatively. Because these are people who read the freaking Daily Mail and Daily Mirror and Daily Express and all these other Royal Rota nonsense. It's like, come on now.
Ooh, she's on fire. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of today's video. And I just want to take a special moment to say thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for watching, for every like, every comment, every bit of support. It means the world to me. Thank you to every member. Thank you for every super thanks. Thank you for every buy me a coffee. I appreciate it all. Wherever you guys are, I hope you're having a wonderful and restful weekend. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.